Hi, I'm Shannon and welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about some of my favorite unisex leaning signature scents. So some of these are ambiguous, they're straight down the middle, anyone can wear these. And I think that in general, fragrances can be marketed toward men or women, but they are for everyone. So let's jump into a few of my favorites. Let's start with one of the absolute top tier perfumes in my collection, and I'm talking about Althair by Parfums de Marley. Now, this scent is so special to me. I think for me, it checks so many boxes. It is a cozy, slightly fresh, aromatic vanilla. There's at the top cinnamon, cardamom, orange blossom, and bergamot. Then we move into a little bit of bourbon, vanilla, elemi resin. And then there's praline, musk, ambroxan, which is going to make that perfume last, gaiac wood, tonka, and candied almond. So this is just so incredibly cozy, but at the same time, I would wear this in warmer weather too. I mean, you can you can check me on that because I do like deep perfumes and I do like deeper fragrances, but I think this is such a versatile scent. I would wear this to work. I would feel comfortable wearing this to wind down at night. I think it is so stunning, and I just want to spray it a couple times because I want to have the pleasure of smelling it. It's so beautiful. This is part of the Parfums de Marley men's line, so I do understand the cardamom and some of the freshness at the opening of this, that you could kind of accuse it of leaning a little bit masculine, but I'm a big fan. I adore this one, and I think it would make an amazing signature scent. I could wear it all the time and not get sick of it. Next up, I have a perfume that I don't hear spoken about a lot, and I'm talking about Santal Indien, and this is by Christian Provenzano. First of all, can we just appreciate how beautiful these bottles are? If you don't own one of these Christian Provenzano bottles, it looks like there's like emeralds embedded in here. I mean, this is luxury at its finest. This feels very expensive. It's essentially like an emerald glass cube, and it's very beautiful. I love the color. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this. I'm just gonna be enveloped in amazing smells today. This is the smoothest, most beautiful sandalwood scent that you could smell. So think about any sandalwood you've smelled where there's a little bit of roughness around the edges. This has saffron in here. It has some orange blossom and neroli. So there's something uplifting and really uplifting, but still creamy because there's vanilla in here. So it's essentially a vanilla sandalwood scent with a little bit of that brightness, little touches of that orange blossom. It's so beautiful. I find this incredibly addictive. I've worn this day after day consecutively, and I have not gotten sick of it. I think it's appropriate for many scenarios. I think it's absolutely stunning. And if you haven't tried it out and you love sandalwood, you like a little bit of freshness in there, I would highly recommend it. While we're on the topic of sandalwood, let me talk about Molecule 04. And this is by Eccentric Molecules. Now, this is the first I've owned from this brand, and I thought they would be kind of basic. And they are, but in the best kind of way. I mean, this is just sandalwood. Like, if you look up the notes for this, it's sandalwood, but it's the most simplistic, fresh, just absolutely beautiful, like I said, still fresh sandalwood. I can't even, it's really hard for me to describe it, because the other thing that I wasn't anticipating with this is I thought it would be overly synthetic or smell very molecular because it's Eccentric Molecules. It's just what I was expecting. But what I get is actually something quite natural smelling. I've been very pleasantly surprised with this. I've tried out a few others of these and they didn't wow me, but this one I just think is really beautiful. It's long lasting, but it's not really beast mode. You're not going to necessarily fill up a room, but you're just going to smell really clean, really fresh. And I just think you could totally wear this every single day. I think, and that's, I guess, partially when I think of signature scent, I think of something that you can pull for very often. And this one is, if you like fresh and clean And I would say, like, compared to Santal Indien, that one's a little bit more heavier and vanillic and creamier. This one's very fresh, just slightly powdery, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful, simple sandalwood scent. I wanted to throw a few unexpected and unique scents in here. And when I think of that and something that's still really fresh and clean and signature scent worthy, I think of Naked Dance, and this is by Oddity. And first of all, this is another one that you probably can't see here, but it looks like it's a piece of wood, and then it looks like there's like some resin or something at the top. It's sanded down. It's an absolutely beautiful bottle. So it's very natural looking. It's very nice. Now, this perfume is a fresh iris. It has green tea. It has some bergamot. It has, like I said, iris. So it's very fresh, a little bit dusty, kind of earthy. And the interesting thing in here is there's actually a clay note and there's a rice note. So there's a lot of very natural, very kind of earthy scents going on in here, but it never goes too much. Like, you're not sticking your nose into a clay pot. You know what I mean? So you're still getting the beautiful freshness from citrus and tea, and then you're getting that soft kind of powderiness from the iris. And that combination, there was a phase where I, again, wore this multiple times and could not stop wearing it. And it's still a fragrance that I love, and I could wear a lot and enjoy it. I think people around you will enjoy the smell. If you like that kind of earthy iris scent and you want something that's not too loud and projecting, but you can wear very frequently, I would say Naked Dance could be that perfume. Definitely try it out. Some of the fragrances that we've talked about so far, I've said have been kind of softer, inoffensive. Now, I'm not saying this is inoffensive, but this is a performer, and I'm talking about Bois Imperial, and this is by Essential Parfums. And this is a Quentin Biche creation, so of course it's amazing. I'm in awe of everything that guy does. I swear in my mind, he can do no wrong. But Bois Imperial is a fresh, spicy scent. There's really interesting notes in here, which if I went through and read the note profile, I would probably not pick this up, because when I see things like basil and oud, I don't even know what tamura is, but it's probably some like odd spicy scent. Those things scare me and turn me off pretty quickly. But this is it's very powdery and enveloping. And the way I've kind of would almost describe this as well is if you like Orpheon by Diptyque, and I actually own that. I kind of got over the extensive powderiness in Orpheon, which could have also been in this video. But to me, Bois Imperial is like a little bit more of a restrained version of that, because it is fresh and powdery to me. I definitely get that fresh shower kind of vibe, and it's very aromatic. The performance on this is amazing. I will call out that there is ambroxan in here. That doesn't bother me in scents when there's enough other things going on where it doesn't feel like synthetic and it doesn't just smell like an ambroxan dump. So that makes this perform incredibly well. Now, I know that they came out with an extrait. I've just heard rumblings that is a little bit more like leather forward. So I haven't checked it out. I'm not really like gunning to go check it out, but this one is an absolute love for me. I think it's stunning. Again, fresh, it performs. Probably like you could definitely probably get some sillage going with this one. So this one I am just a huge fan of. This next one might be slightly redundant, but I think it is very special. So I want to share it. And I'm talking about Morning After, and this is by Who is Elijah. First of all, the brand Who is Elijah is amazing. They do a great job. I like some others from their line as well, but this is actually the only one that I own. Morning After is really unique. It has this very fresh dose of cardamom, and there's papyrus and violet in here. So the cardamom can be like kind of punchy and in your face, but because we've got some violet leaf and we've got other things kind of rounding it out, there's amber, there's sandalwood and cedar in the base. There's a little bit of leather, which doesn't come off very strong to me. It's just a touch in there. It's just enough to kind of give it a little bit of intrigue. This is a very niche, like very complex scent. I think this is a phenomenal perfume. And this is 50 ml. I actually think their pricing is pretty good on these. And I think, moderate performance, but this is very unique. So if you like some of the other ones, if you're already familiar with like Bois Imperial or some of the other ones that I've mentioned and you like that scent profile, I would say check out Morning After. It's definitely worth getting into. It's very unique. I've never smelled anything like this. Yeah, I think the composition is really unique with the papyrus, violet leaf, and some of those others that I mentioned. So this is another one that I think is top tier. Next up, I have a fragrance that I think has gotten some hype, so you may be familiar with this, and I'm talking about the Architects Club by Arquiste. Now, I have heard this compared to Eau Duelle, but kind of like a fresher summer version of that. And I actually like very strongly agree with that. I have the Eau Duelle EDP version, so that one's a little bit heavier. But this is one that I can wear year round. It essentially it's a fresh vanilla, but there's some interest here. So I don't actually have the notes in front of me for this one, but I believe there's a little bit of like juniper or something that's giving it this outdoorsy feel. I get a little bit of like woodiness, like I'm outside, very fresh, kind of like a vanillic freshness, but you're also outside getting a blast of fresh air, maybe from some trees. It could be some fir trees or just something very, very much like you're out in nature. And I think it's a very versatile, very wearable vanilla that's also fresh. I think it's so beautiful. I think this one is an absolute standout. Up next, I wanted to include a little bit of a wildcard fragrance, and I'm talking about Iris Malikhan by Maison Crivelli. Now, this is a very dynamic scent. This is like you're not shy. You want to be different. You don't want to just be pleasant and pleasing to everyone around you. And I'm not saying it doesn't smell good, because it does, but it's so unique. Like you can't help but wonder what's in this, and you want to keep going back to it. It's a very earthy, buttery, powdery iris. It's extremely aromatic. We've got cypress, there's pink pepper, there's a little bit of mimosa, and I'm looking at the notes. I'm like, there's black currant syrup in here. So there's touches of sweetness in here with that and some vanilla. There's some orris and leather that kind of brings everything together, softens it out just enough so that it's wearable, but it does stay very green. So it does have a very green opening, and it doesn't go super soft, super vanillic. So if you have to like that green opening, and actually I will tell you, when I first tried this, I was not a fan. This was a no for me. And I think the more I got into some of the complex compositions and fragrances, the more that I appreciated it. And now I think it's a standout. I think this would make an amazing signature scent. You really have to like iris. You really have to like, in my opinion, something bold and something different, but this is definitely top tier iris for signature scent. I have to include this because I love it so much. I know it's so overspoken about. It's so overdone, but I don't care. And I'm talking about Bal d'Afrique from Byredo. I adore this. It's so beautifully fresh. It's so citrusy and bright and woody, and there is a little bit of like men's cologne vibe going on in here, but that a woman could wear. I mean, that's why this is incredibly down the line unisex. There's something that I find incredibly addictive about this, and this is a perfume that I will continue to repurchase. This will always be in my collection. I think this is another one that gets copied a lot. So if you're looking for the origin or the OG or the best of the best, I mean, I think Bal d'Afrique is that. And some of the notes in here, which I think make it very unisex, is there's lemon, there's citrus, there's some black currant, little bit of orange flower, violet, jasmine, which is kind of surprising because I don't get heavy doses of floral in here. I get a lot of freshness. I also don't think that the vetiver in here is overpowering. I think it's just so delightful. Again, very appropriate for many scenarios. I think it's very attractive. It's fresh. It's clean. You're going to walk into a room and just smell put together. And I think this is another one that personally I could absolutely make my signature scent. Again, will always be in my collection. It's an absolute standout. Another standout to me that's a little bit different, if you like a citrus or a neroli scent profile, Neroli Outrenoir from the House of Guerlain is such a unique neroli scent. Now, they incorporated tea in here, so what that does is it really calms down and balances out the neroli. This is something that you can absolutely wear in hot weather. You can wear this year round, and I think that makes it very appropriate for a signature scent. This doesn't have the sharpness that a lot of the neroli scents tend to have. So this is another one I would highly suggest checking out for signature scent if you're looking for something a little bit different that doesn't smell like everyone else. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations on unisex leaning signature scents. Please let me know in the comments. Did I miss any? Do you have any favorites? And if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you back for another video soon.